Welcome to the John Whitmer Historical Association Digital Conference. Metamorphosis, Scattered and Gathered Saints Emerge After Crises. Currently, we're going to do the 2020 awards ceremony. The article awards donors for Best Historical Article, Greg Koford Books. Best Theological Article, Sandra and Jerry Mogg, Susan and Joe Geisner. The Article Awards Committee members is made up of Bryce Blankenagel, Seattle, Washington; Caitlin Noyce, South Jordan, Utah; Catherine Pollock, Neosho, Missouri; Nancy Ross, St. George, Utah. The articles in this year's nominations were published by various publishers. They are John Whitmer Historical Association, Journal of Mormon History, Intermountain West Journal of Religious Studies, Utah Historical Quarterly, Mormon Historical Studies, Journal of Mormon Studies, Novo Religio, Alternative Spirituality and Religion Review, Dialogue, a Journal of Mormon Thought. Now I'd like to turn the time over to the Best Article Committee members.
Hi, my name is Bryce Blankenagel. I'm a member of the Historical Awards Committee at John Whitmer Historical Association. I'm coming to you from Seattle, Washington in the year of 2020, and I'm here to present the Greg Koford Best Historical Article Awards. I'm going to run through all of our historical award nominations that we have this year. It's a long list, but we do this in order to encourage people who are watching or listening to this to maybe check out some of these articles for yourselves, because it was really an incredible selection of articles from 2019 for us to cull through and try and come up with a winner. And it really was a tough decision. So let's begin. We have concerning early 19th century church history and the subject of 19th century riverboating, an article that was written by Michael Allen titled Zion's Landing, Riverboating on Old Nauvoo, 1839 to 1860. Which was published in the John Whitmer Historical Association Journal. Concerning the Missouri Mormon War, we have an article written by Alexander L. Baugh titled, We Have a Company of Danites in These Times, the Danites, Joseph Smith, and the 1838 Missouri Mormon Conflict. That was published in the Journal of Mormon History. Concerning Nauvoo-era legal history, an article written by John S. Dinger was titled Mormons and the Grand Jury in Hancock County, 1839 to 1845, published in the Journal of Mormon History. Concerning early Mormon temples, an article written by Melvin C. Johnson was titled Kirtland, Nauvoo, and Zodiac, a commentary on early Mormon temples. That was published in the John Whitmer Historical Association Journal. Also concerning Carthage murders, an article by E. Gary Smith titled Blood, Bullets, Pistols, and Mobbers, a new look at solving a Carthage jail mystery. That was published in the Journal of Mormon History. Re-examining early publications concerning W.W. Phelps, an article was written by Bruce A. Van Orden titled To What Extent Was W.W. Phelps Joseph Smith's Ghostwriter in Nauvoo? Published in the John Whitmer Historical Association Journal. Concerning restoration scripture and textual criticism, an article written by Colby Townsend was titled Returning to the Sources, Integrating Textual Criticism in the Study of Early Mormon Texts. That was published in the Intermountain West Journal of Religious Studies. Concerning Utah territory history and city planning, we have an article written by Rick Grunder and Paul E. Cohen titled The Founding Document of the Mormon West, which was published in Utah Historical Quarterly. Concerning the Willie Hancock Company, an article by Andrew D. Olson and Jolene S. Alphin was titled We Buried 13 Souls, Identifying the Willie Hancock Company's Campsite and Mass Grave after the Tragic Ordeal on Rocky Ridge. That was published in the Mormon Historical Studies Journal. Concerning 20th century U.S. history, we have an article concerning Equal Rights Amendment that was written by William P. Connors titled Missionaries to the Mormons, Now's ERA Missionary Project. That was published in the Journal of Mormon History. Also concerning the LDS Church Historian's Office, an article by Corey L. Neimer titled The Old Guard and Rear Guard Actions, Professionalization and the Church Historian's Office, published in the Journal of Mormon History. Concerning international history now, we begin with Samoa, an article written by Dylan Michael Beatty titled Missionaries on Imperial Front Lines, Religious Geopolitics and Latter-day Saints During the Samoan Civil Wars. That was published in the Journal of Mormon History. Concerning Mexico, we have an article written by Barbara Morgan Gardner, Ricardo Mezamera, and Janelle Morgan Wakely titled Heroes de Chapultepec, A Place to Procure an Education, that was published in the Journal of Mormon History. Concerning Brazil, an article written by Mark L. Grover titled Sprechen Sie Portuguese? Nein! The German Beginnings of the Church in Brazil, which was published in the Journal of Mormon History. Concerning Italy, an article was written by Michael W. Homer titled Separating Church and State in Italy, Civil Marriage and the Mormon Connection, which was published in the journal Nova Religio. Concerning Nigeria, we have an article by D. Dimitri Hurlbut titled Gobert Edit and the Entry of the LDS Church into Southeastern Nigeria, 1962 to 1966, which was published in the Journal of Mormon History. Also concerning Mormon fundamentalist history, and specifically the Fundamentalist Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, an article was written by Stephanie Griswold titled The Raid is On, Elaborations on the Short Creek Women's Recollections of the 1953 Raid, which was published in the Journal of Alternative Spirituality and Religion Review. Also concerning the righteous branch of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, an article written by Christina Rossetti was titled Further Light Pertaining to Celestial Marriage, The Law of Purity and a 20th Century Mormon Fundamentalist Discourse on Sexuality, which was published in the Journal of Mormon History. Also concerning the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints Strangite history was an article concerning Christology written by Adam S. Brasic titled Jesus Christ, Son of Man, James J. Strang's Apologetic Christology, which was published in the Journal of Mormon History. And to announce the Greg Koford Best Historical Article winner, we have our winner, D. Dimitri Hurlbut, titled Gobert Edit and the Entry of the RLDS Church into Southeastern Nigeria, 1962 to 1966, published in the Journal of Mormon History, number 45, October 2019. Congratulations, D. Dimitri Hurlbut, and his fantastic article on this subject from all of these amazing articles that came from the year of 2019. And thank you all so much.
I would like to express my gratitude to Bryce Blankenagel, Joe Geisner, Catherine Pollock, and the other members of the JWHA Awards Committee for selecting my article, Gobert Edit and the Entry of the RLDS Church into Southeastern Nigeria, as the recipient of the 2020 Best Historical Article Award. I feel privileged that the committee chose my article from an impressive roster of article nominations that included the intelligent work of bright new minds and established scholars alike. Additionally, I'm indebted to Rachel Killebrew, the archivist of the Community of Christ, for making the materials on which the article is based available to me. Without the generosity of Rachel and her archives volunteers, I would have been unable to complete this piece. Finally, I want to offer my thanks to Bob Goldberg and the Tanner Humanities Center at the University of Utah. This article took its form while I was a graduate research fellow in Mormon studies at the Tanner, and it was greatly shaped by the conversations that took place in the center's welcoming and collegial environment. Congratulations to all of the other awards recipients, and thank you.
Hi, my name is Nancy Ross, and I am from St. George, Utah, and I'm here to present the Geisner and Mogg Best Theological Article Award. We have 4 different articles under a few different headings, the first of which is Community of Christ Personal Reflection. This article is by Paul Edwards, Allison Sir, Faith and Reason in the One True Church, published in the John Whitmer Historical Association Journal. The second is Latter-day Saint Ecofeminism by Catherine Knight Sontag, The Mother Tree, Understanding the Spiritual Roots of Our Ecological Crisis, published in Dialogue, a Journal of Mormon Thought. In the third, in the area of Book of Mormon Studies, by Charles Swift, The Lord Slayeth the Wicked, Coming to Terms with Nephi Killing Laban, published in the Journal of Book of Mormon Studies. And our final article, also in Book of Mormon Studies, by Ryan Thomas, The Gold Plates in Ancient Metal Epigraphy, published in Dialogue, a Journal of Mormon Thought. And so, for our Geisner and Mogg Best Theological Article Award, the winner is Ryan Thomas, The Gold Plates in Ancient Metal Epigraphy, in Dialogue, a Journal of Mormon Thought, Volume 52, Issue 2, Summer 2019. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. I want to thank the committee for recognizing my article and dialogue on the gold plates in the Book of Mormon. This is really an unexpected surprise since I do most of my research on the Hebrew Bible and Israelite religion. The article was a long time coming and encountered significant obstacles on the way to publication, including some health challenges. As Genesis goes back to graduate school, I had grown up LDS and hoped that I could provide some context for understanding the Book of Mormon by learning about ancient Israel and the Old Testament. But as they say, the past is a foreign country, and the more I studied the ancient Near East, the more difficult it became to accept that the Book of Mormon had a historicity in ancient times. The issue of the writing of the Book of Mormon on gold plates attracted my attention because it seems so out of place based on what we know of scribal production of ancient texts. So over time, I kept mental notes on different inscriptions, and this eventually led to the article and dialogue. In the end, I hope that it contributes to raising the level of discourse on a sensitive topic so that religions, and Mormons in particular, can concentrate on being good and kind rather than having their beliefs proven right. Thanks again.
Next, we're doing the Book Awards. The Book Award donors are Best Book, Smith Pettit Foundation; Best Biography, Jill and Greg Grimm in honor of Alma Blair; Documentary History, Beth and Dan Whitmore; Anthology, Aaron and Brent Metcalf. The Book Awards committee members are John Dinger, Meridian, Idaho; Brent Metcalf, Jonesboro, Arkansas; Sally Roth, Overland Park, Kansas; Susan Staker, Langley, Washington. The Book Awards publishers for this year's nominations: Oxford University Press, University of Utah Press, Signature Books, Greg Koford Books, Religious Studies Center, BYU, Church Historians Press, University of Chicago Press, The History Press, University of Illinois Press, Herald House, University of North Carolina. I'd now like to turn the time over to the book committee for the announcement of the winners.
Hello, I'm Sally Roth, and a member of the Books Committee, and coming to you from Kansas. I have the honor to present the Metcalf Best Anthology Book Award. And we have 3 outstanding nominees to present. Americanist Approaches to the Book of Mormon, edited by Elizabeth Fenton and Jared Hickman, Oxford University Press. Essays on American Indian and Mormon History, edited by P. Jane Hafen and Brendan W. Renzik, Salt Lake City, University of Utah Press. The Ancient Order of Things, Essays on the Mormon Temple, edited by Kristen Larson, Salt Lake City Signature Books. And now the winner is, for the Metcalf Best Anthology Book Award, P. Jane Hafen and Brendan W. Renzik, Essays on American Indian and Mormon History, University of Utah Press. Congratulations, Jane and Brendan.
Thank you, Sally, and thank you, John Whitmer Historical Association and the Awards Committee. My name is Brendan Rensink. I'm grateful for the chance to express gratitude on behalf of myself and my co-editor, Jane Hafen, for this award. I'm the Associate Director of the Charles Redd Center for Western Studies and an Associate Professor of History here at Brigham Young University. I want to recognize that I'm speaking from, and I also work and live here on traditional homelands of various Shoshone and Ute peoples along the Wasatch Front. I'm deeply uncomfortable speaking on behalf of Jane and generally defer to her in all things, but this discomfort is somewhat eased by the fact that Jane will be speaking to the conference herself. I encourage you to lend her a generous hearing. She's an expert at asking very hard questions and at challenging us to think differently. I have always benefited from her scholarship and her continual guidance in my life. Our anthology being honored today had its genesis here at the Redd Center. Jane and I organized a seminar some years ago where we invited a group of scholars to Brigham Young University to workshop chapters on various topics intersecting American Indian and Mormon histories. We specifically chose people whose new research highlighted and foregrounded Indigenous experiences and perspectives. For although Native peoples feature prominently in the theology and early history of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, we saw that Native peoples often only appear in Mormon narratives as side characters, sometimes as one-dimensional foils that spur on Mormon stories, or other representations that fail to consider and really showcase the richness and fullness of Indigenous peoples' actual lived experiences, perspectives, or voices. This subfield of study is wide open for new research, and this volume and the contributors who wrote in it represent a handful of initial early forays into it. Our volume opens a lot of doors and it asks a lot more questions than it answers, but we feel that it demonstrates the richness and potential of these histories, of this field, and we hope it will inspire thoughtful pondering and questioning by readers. So on behalf of myself and Jane, thank you, John Whitmer Historical Association. Thank you to the Awards Committee for taking time with this work, for recognizing it, and for helping us to increase awareness about these topics.
Good evening. My name is John Dinger, and I'm coming to you from Boise, Idaho, and I am part of the Book Awards Committee. Tonight I have the honor of presenting the Alma Blair Best Biography Award. This year there were 3 amazing biographies that we were asked to consider. First, we have Melvin C. Johnson's The Life and Times of John Pierce Hawley, a Mormon Ulysses of the American West. This book traces Hawley's journey through Mormonism, starting in 1833, when he was baptized into the church, and ending with his death in Lamoni, Iowa in 1909. Because Hawley had contact with or was involved with so many restoration groups, his life is a snapshot of the various branches of Mormonism. Second, we have Quincy D. Newell, Your Sister in the Gospel, the life of Jane Manning James, a 19th century Black Mormon. This book looks at the life of Jane Manning James, a free Black woman who joined the church and moved to Nauvoo. She later followed Brigham Young's group to Utah. It is exceptional for its discussion of the intersection of Mormonism, gender, and race. Finally, we have Gordon Shepherd and Gary Shepherd's Jan Ships, a social and intellectual portrait, how a Methodist girl from Hueytown, Alabama became an acclaimed Mormon studies scholar. This is a biography of the quintessential outsider insider who was a leader in the New Mormon studies and had significant involvement with the John Whitmer Historical Association. While all 3 books were worthy of a win, sadly, we had to pick one. The winner is Melvin C. Johnson's The Life and Times of John Pierce Hawley, a Mormon Ulysses of the American West, published by Greg Koford Books.
My name is Melvin C. Johnson, and I am an independent historian and researcher. I thank John Dinger and the members of the John Whitmer Historical Association Awards Committee for selecting as the best biography for this year, My Life and Times of John Pierce Hawley and Mormon Ulysses of the American West, published by Koford Books of Salt Lake City, Utah. Hawley's narrative explores the fluidity of the pan-Mormon American West before and through and after the Civil War and beyond. I must acknowledge the editing and publishing efforts of Brian Whitney and Lloyd Erickson, as well as the continuing friendship, support, and advice of Dr. John Alley in making this work come forward. First encountering Holly's story in 1994, I am thrilled that it has finally come to fruition. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Catherine Pollock, and I'm coming to you from Southwest Missouri to share the nominees a winner for the Whitmore Best Documentary History Book Award. The Annuals of the Southern Mission, a record of the history of the settlement of southern Utah, edited by Aaron MacArthur and Reed L. Nielsen by Greg Coford Books. Next is Confidence Amidst Change, the Presidential Diaries of David O. McKay, 1951 to 1970, edited by Harvard S. Heath, published by Signature Books. The Rise of the Latter-day Saints, the Journals and Histories of Newell K. Knight, edited by Michael Hubbard McKay and William G. Hartley, published by BYU's Religious Studies Center. A Documentary History of the Book of Mormon, edited by Larry E. Morris, published by Oxford University Press. And lastly, in our nominee list are 2 volumes from the Joseph Smith Paper Series, Documents Volume 8, February through November 1841, edited by Brent M. Rogers, Mason K. Allred, Garrett J. Dirkmaud, Brent T. Dowie, published by the Church History Press. And then, Documents Volume 9, December 1841 through April 1842, edited by Alex D. Smith, Kristen K. Himberger, and Christopher James Blythe, also published by the Church Historians Press. And the winner of the Whitmore Best Documentary History Book Award is the Joseph Smith Papers Project for Documents Volume 8 and Documents Volume 9. We congratulate the 7 editors for this award.
Thank you, Catherine, and thanks to the awards committee for all your hard work in reviewing these nominations. On behalf of the Joseph Smith Papers Project and these teams that worked on volumes 8 and 9 in the document series, we express our appreciation for this recognition. These 2 volumes represent a lot of work over some years by many editors and historians who love the past and who love working in old documents and who love Joseph Smith. To our friends in the John Whitmer Historical Association, this community that we call home, thank you.
Hi, this is Susan Staker from Whidbey Island near Seattle. Here is the rather amazing list from 2019 nominated for the Smith-Pettit Best Book Award. Quite an adventure in reading for our book committee. Don Bradley, The Lost 116 Pages, Reconstructing the Book of Mormon's Missing Stories, from Greg Coford Books. Peter Coviello, Make Yourself Gods, Mormons and the Unfinished Business of American Secularism, from the University of Chicago Press. Craig L. Foster and Marianne T. Watson, American Polygamy, A History of Fundamentalist Mormon Faith, from the South Carolina History Press. Terrell Givens with Brian M. Hauglid, The Pearl of Greatest Price, Mormonism's Most Controversial Scripture, from Oxford University Press. Stephen C. Harper, First Vision, Memory and Mormon Origins, from Oxford University Press. Jake Johnson, Mormons, Musical Theater and Belonging in America, from University of Illinois Press. Dale E. Luffman, Commentary on the Community of Christ Doctrine and Covenants, Volume 1, The Joseph Smith Era, from Herald Publishing House. Edward Leo Lyman, Finally Statehood, Utah Struggles, 1849 to 1896, from Signature Books. David Walker, Railroading Religion, Mormons, Tourists, and the Corporate Spirit of the West from the University of North Carolina Press. This remarkable list says so much about the diversity and high energy of contemporary restoration studies. It was a wild ride reading these books, insiders and outsiders, traditional histories, a wide range of theoretical perspectives. My background in narrative theory attracted me to such books as Coviello's Make Yourself Gods, Walker's Railroading Religion, Johnson's Mormons and Musical Theater. But even the range of more traditional books from more traditional publishers sent us on unexpected journeys. And then there is the important final book by Dale Luthman. In other words, this was a tough decision. That said, our winner for the Smith-Pettit Best Book Award is a book that took a familiar story and spun out its variations along the arc of more than a century. Stephen C. Harper, First Vision, Memory and Mormon Origins from Oxford University Press. In January, I attended a conference at the Huntington Library to launch the bicentennial celebration of Joseph Smith's First Vision, mostly since run aground by COVID. I listened to Stephen Harper from BYU and non-Mormon scholar Ann Taves engage in an energetic back and forth, radical difference with respect over Joseph's first visions. I admire Harper's book. With Taves, I may have some differences with readings of Joseph's text, but his arc for how the Utah Church plotted, revisioned, revalued the story over 200 years makes for an important and an exemplary project. Congratulations on a fine book.
Thank you, Susan, for your kind words, and thank you to each member of the John Whitmer Historical Association Awards Committee. I confess that I have broken the command not to covet when it comes to this award, and I'm very grateful for it. I knew there were several books that were worthy of it, and I'm still not sure mine is the best, but I am very thankful that the awards committee has judged it worthy of this award. I'm grateful, very grateful for it. I'm thankful to be associated with the John Whitmer Historical Association. It's a pleasure and a delight to be involved in the work of the association, the collegial debates and relationships, and the exciting efforts to push forward a knowledge and understanding of our shared heritage. Thank you very, very much.
I'd like to congratulate all the winners this year. Thank you very much. And my thanks again to the committee for hard work in selecting this year's winners. At this time, I'd like to turn the time over to the president of John Whitmer Historical Association, Jill Brennan.
Thank you, Jill. And thank you to the awards committee for the superb job you have performed. We would now like to honor our two departing members of the board of directors. First, we recognize for his excellence in leadership, Scott Esplin, serving from 2017 to 2020 as the John Whitmer Books Liaison. Next, we would like to honor Daniel Kelty for his excellence in leadership, serving on the board of directors from 2017 to 2020 as the Mormon History Association Liaison. It has been a true pleasure serving with both of you. Thank you. The John Whitmer Historical Association has selected George and Camilla Smith as recipients of the 2020 President's Award. George, we are grateful for your commitment to historical research, analysis, and the publishing of restoration history. As president and co-founder of Signature Books, in the coming year, you will celebrate 40 years of publishing Mormon studies and history. I first became aware of your attention to historical detail in reading Nauvoo Polygamy, but we called it Celestial Marriage. Your discussion of the Anabaptists in Munster, Germany, provided a new look for me at Reformation religious practices and their influences. Your membership and support of JWHA has contributed to our mission of fostering a lively interest in the history of restoration movement. Camilla, your dedication to university and public libraries, particularly the availability of technology for learners, has aided many teachers and historians in their research. From service at the University of Utah to the University of California at Berkeley and the Teachers College of Columbia University, you have supported students with library technology. Your years of participation in JWHA, the Smithsonian Museum, and the National Public Radio Foundation show your support of open forum where significant historical conversations can take place. Thank you for your support of JWHA. Next year, our JWHA annual conference will take place in St. George, Utah, where three unique ecological areas converge: the Great Basin, the Colorado Plateau, and the Mojave Desert. We have collected rocks and minerals for you from these three areas, polished them, and now send them to you, symbolizing the many cultures that have attempted to thrive here in St. George. We look forward to welcoming you at the conference. George and Camilla, JWHA sends our best wishes and congratulations as we extend the 2020 President's Award to you. We appreciate your participation in the awards ceremony. Again, thank you to the awards committee. We'd ask you to please support the authors and publishers represented tonight. We'd like to let you know that you may submit your 2021 awards nominees to awards@jwha.info. And you may visit our website, www.jwha.info, for additional information.